Hello everybody and welcome to Quick Test Tuesday here on Sparkling Autos. This week is the long awaited MJJC foam, and I say long awaited because this was actually sent to me in August and I didn't receive it until 2 weeks ago, well into November. And I know you can't complain too much when you're receiving something free of charge to review, but I think 11 weeks is kind of pushing the boat out. Excuse the pun. But regardless, it's here now. So what I'm going to do as usual is use it as per the instructions and then decide at the end, is this something I liked or enjoyed using, or is it something I'm probably never going to use again, hence put it straight in the bin. And as always, there's only one way to find out, so let's get on with it. And to clear up any confusion, because I actually had some myself, just to clarify that this is not a Snowfoam, it's a Snowfoam shampoo. So basically you apply it as you would with a Snowfoam, however it's designed for your contact wash. Now I've discussed this before, I'm not a particular fan of this type of product, but I'm willing to give it a go again, as maybe this product could bring something new to the table. So as I'm getting the product ready here, I'm going to discuss a couple of things. One, the first step says to pre-rinse the vehicle. Well, because you're going with this straight in with a contact wash, I've decided to pre-wash the vehicle. Now I'm doing that off camera, which may well be with another product for another week. You'll just have to subscribe to find out. And step 2 then is to add 100ml of product to 900ml of water. Now it does specify to do this in your MJJC lance, but obviously all manufacturers are going to say the same thing. I didn't have it here on the day, so I've just used another one. Now that shouldn't really have any impact. The only thing the MJJC is going to do is perhaps make the foam even thicker. But we'll come to that in a minute. Now you may notice a new machine in the background. Those of you who follow me on Instagram will know that I recently took delivery of a new AVA Master Series P80 pressure washer. And this was actually the first time I used the machine, so ignore the awkwardness or clumsiness and expect a full review on this one very, very soon. And you may also have noticed the adapter I had, which will allow you to attach any 1/4 inch quick release connector to any standard AVA or Kärcher lance. And I'll leave a link for that in the description below. But back to the product in hand, and as you can see it just applies like a normal Snowfoam would, as in covers the car in a snow-like foam. And although not necessary in any way, shape or form, I allowed that to dwell for a couple of minutes while I went and got my buckets ready with my wash mitts. So here we are then with what I think is one of the main advantages with this type of application. So I have roughly 1/3 of the bucket of warm water, and what I'm going to do now is fill it up using the soap solution which is in the foam lance. And as you can see here, this soap solution is incredibly thick coming out of the lance, which leaves me in absolutely no doubt whatsoever that these mitts and pads are going to be well loaded up with some nice creamy thick suds. Whether that's a good thing or not, we're about to find out. So there we are, and then the bucket has been filled and I'm ready to go in with my contact wash. You may observe then, despite the fact that this has now been dwelling on the car for around 4 or 5 minutes, there's still plenty of suds visible. And you can see as I start to wash the car with the now fully loaded Garage Therapy large wash pad, just how thick those suds are. Now when people talk about shampoo, the two main factors they talk about are slickness and suds, and this definitely has both in absolute abundance. So much so that it actually begs the question, can you have too much of a good thing? You see, one of the main problems that I have with this particular process, as in applying the shampoo through a foam lance, it's the visual thing. I like to see where I've been when I'm washing the car. Largely because I'm daydreaming half the time and I might actually forget which panels I've washed and which I haven't. Ugh, put my teeth back in. I wish I was a window washer. Alliterations aside though, I just don't enjoy this process. I know some people do and it works for them, that's great. It doesn't work for me. I've tried it a couple of times now and it just doesn't work for me. Now going by the instructions on this bottle, you're using more product, you're making more mess, and really the only advantage that I can see is that you save time. But I don't go out on a Sunday afternoon to wash my car to save time, I go out to enjoy the process, and personally, I don't enjoy this. Now I know this is supposed to be a review of a product and not a process, however this is a Snowfoam shampoo, so it's a product designed for you to use that process specifically. And that brings me on to something else that I don't normally discuss in this series, but I think it's worth noting today, is the price of this product. So when MJJC contacted me asking me if I'd be interested in reviewing this, I had a few questions for them, and two of those were, what size would it be sold in, and what would the retail price be? So I was told it was going to be sold in 600ml bottles, which is what you see in the video, and that it would be $19.99. Now obviously the exchange rate changes more frequently than conservative litres, but today's price being the 28th of November 2022, $19.99 works out on xe.com at £16.70. Now on the instructions this says to use 100ml to 900ml of water, so that means you would get 6 washes for £16.70, or almost £3 a wash. Now I'm neither qualified nor even interested in giving anybody financial advice. I'm just giving you the facts and letting you make your own decisions based on that. And whilst you mull over those numbers, I'll get back to testing the actual product. So the last thing really we need to know is what's it like to rinse off. And as you can see here, in terms of getting it off the car, it doesn't provide any difficulties whatsoever, certainly no more than any other shampoo I've ever used. Of course, it's also being made even easier by my new machine, but again, we're going to come to that in another video. Hint hint, make sure you're subscribed and the notification bell's turned on. So once I've worked my way around and got the remainder of the soap off the car, I'm going to move it out of the way and let you take a look at the driveway and just see what mess has been left behind. Now I would normally be one to quote Michael Bublé, but it really is beginning to look a lot like Christmas. And that only leaves one question. So what way is this one going to go? Without a doubt one of the slickest, sootiest shampoos I've ever used, but unfortunately it's a no from me. It's not just the fact that it's almost too sudsy and too slick, you could always dial the product back a bit, or even the fact that it's forcing me into a process that I don't particularly enjoy doing, although that did play a major factor in my decision. But really, for me, it comes down to the price. It's just too expensive. Even if you half the quantity and you're only using 50ml per wash, that's still only 12 washes from one bottle, and at $20, not only the fact that I had to wait 11 weeks for it, although that may not always be the case, it's just too expensive for my liking. But at the end of the day, these are only my opinions. I'm not telling anybody else what to do. I'm not in a position to tell anybody else what to do. I'm just giving you my opinion. And in my opinion, this is not a product I would want to use again in the future. Now, MJJC sent me this product to test and review for my subscribers. And that's all I'm doing, is giving an honest review. But I cannot stress enough that these are only my opinions. This process may well work for you. And this may be a product that works for you. And I'll even leave a link in the description below if you do want to try some for yourself. And that, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, is all I have to say about that. I'd like to thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Take care.